What's up, guys? This is Mike Loris, going to be casting the third round of the League of Dota Week 3. This is going to be, the skill is going to get a little bit closer, but we're having some trouble because Aperture Science Enrichment Team, also known as Kotl Bottle, but I guess I'm just going to end up calling them Aperture because that's what their team is called. They're saying that I'm, cheating for the other team, even though I'm an official caster. Lodestone is the only featured caster. I have to deal with this now.
10 seconds remaining.
What's his name?
5 seconds.
Alright, well, okay, so we're just going to go over the cast, and hopefully we're not going to let this thing get in our way. We have the Crystal Maiden being picked up from the Aperture Science team after the Invoker ban, which is actually rather peculiar. Invoker is generally one of those fringe picks. Risk, on the other hand, they're going to go with the Alchemist as well as the Naga Siren. So they're going to have that, just guaranteed stun setup, a lot of disable right off the bat. Also with the Naga Siren, it's kind of a deterrent for anyone to pick up a Lifestealer, unless it's, of course, Risk going to be picking up the Lifestealer. There we go, we're okay. We know that I'm an official caster now. We know that. Okay, we're just going to avoid all of that. So, Risk, going to go with the Naga Siren, so instantly going to get that show-stopping ultimate, as well as the net for, well, maybe OD. OD isn't really affected too much by the Naga Siren net. I mean, he could always imprison himself, and then the duration in which he's imprisoned is usually coincides pretty well with the duration that the ensnare is on them. So that's a pretty good counter to the Naga Siren, though if he does get caught out with the Naga Siren ultimate, OD is a hero that really relies heavily on his positioning. So if you let Risk get the ultimate off and then position as they want around your OD, yes, you'll be able to possibly force staff his way out, possibly astral his way out of that sticky spot, but he's still not going to have a fun time. So very powerful pickups from both ends as their first picks, and well, Risk actually going to just ban the Lifestealer anyway. Usually when you see Naga Siren, that's pretty much as hard countery, as at least from a support standpoint, as you can get versus a Lifestealer, just because everything the Naga Siren has is great against him. If he's raged, you net him, and there's not many disables that go through Magic Immunity, and Snare is one of the few. And if he's raged and the rest of his team is behind him, then use Song of the Siren, and then it's like, great, you're raged, the rest of your team is sleeping, we're just going to kill you while the rest of your team naps. And that usually works out pretty well. But regardless, it's not going to be in the pool, even though Risk may have a great way of countering him. Razor, as well as the Nyx Assassin, is going to be the ban out from the Aperture side.
5 seconds.
So they're just trying to make this OD have as easy a time as possible. Razor as well as Nyx, both very effective counters versus the OD, just because, first of all, you have the Nyx, who does like 1,000,000 damage versus the OD when he uses the Mana Burn. And then you have the Razor, who could continue to drain out the OD's damage, even though one of them may get imprisoned, which doesn't make any sense because he's imprisoned, but that's just the way it works. But they're going to ensure that OD has as much dominance in the mid lane as possible. Risk have still yet to pick up their mid lane hero. Alchemist could go in the mid lane, and he actually doesn't do terribly. Like, the intelligence, definitely, or lack thereof, I guess, the intelligence swing does hurt him quite a bit. But he's tanky, he doesn't really rely too much on his spells, although once you get below acid spray range, I guess it's not the best. Naga Siren, Venomancer, probably not optimal either. So OD, Aperture have kind of ensured themselves a spot, or mid lane dominance with that OD, especially if they have roaming Crystal Maiden, especially if they have a roaming Mirana. Once you have those, all three of those together, then the OD is going to dominate whoever's in the mid lane, unless Risk pull out something huge, but as of this point, I don't really think there's many great heroes that they could pick to counter the OD. They're going to go with the Bristleback, so Venomancer as well as the Bristleback, that is a ton of slow. They have only one hard stun, so that's kind of unfortunate for them, but I think that would be more than enough to deal with the Aperture Science team, because right now, their heroes aren't heroes that rush BKBs, so your stuns won't last anyway if the BKBs go up. Slows, I don't think any of these will go through. I think Gale sticks on BKB targets. I might be thinking about something else, but either way, BKBs aren't going to be going up, so these slows from Risk and the chasing power from Risk is definitely going to be pretty friggin' powerful, and they also will have some pretty huge tanky heroes in the front lines. Bristleback as well as Alchemist both will just take no damage at all from the Aperture side, and then you'll have them doing a lot of damage as well. So Aperture, what is going to be their answer to this Bristleback? Usually you just want to hard lock him down, stun him so that he can't turn around, and then kill him from the front. Mirana's a pretty good hero against Bristleback in that regard. And of course, Bristleback, I mean, he doesn't start off with a lot of intelligence. He does actually have surprisingly high amounts of intelligence growth for a pig. So he won't get hit as hard from the OD ult, but it still will hurt him a ton. But Aperture, what is going to be their pick? They could run the Mirana support, and it's going to be a Slark. Wow, okay, in the lobby we were actually talking about Slark, and in memory of Zane said he wanted to pick a Slark, but his captain wouldn't let him, so looks like that's going to happen, actually. So there's going to be a Slark on the Aperture Science team, and Slark really isn't the best hero versus Bristleback, just because Quills will hit you through your invisibility. You'll regen through it, yes, but they still will hit you. And also Slark, when he pounces on someone, he hits them from the back. And Bristleback, if he gets pounced on, he doesn't give a shit, because he just turns around, and then he takes as much damage as he can. He takes as much damage, and he really wants to take that damage, so that Slark doesn't do damage to anyone else. Quills are going to be flying. Slark's going to be severely punished by going on the Bristleback. To his credit, though, there is, once again, a lack of disable, so he will be relatively fine to just play that slippery role of Slark. Not much burst on the risk side, but a lot of physical damage, so Slark's going to have to watch out for that, but really Slark's main weakness is magical damage. He has a low HP pool, he's very, very soft, reliant on his regeneration. If you could burst him down with magical damage, that's fantastic. But really, that's not quite there. Risk going to pick the Luna as their final pickup, so I still don't really know who's going to be going on to the mid lane for Risk. They know that the OD is probably going to be on that lane, and there's no one who they really have that could stand up well versus the OD. Maybe an auto-attacking Luna, maybe a Bristleback. Won't be terrible. Maybe they just want to go for dual lanes. The dual lane in the mid won't be a terrible idea, actually. It will definitely catch it catches many people off guard once you put two people in the mid lane, especially against an OD who is used to dominating a lane, usually with no problem whatsoever. But once you get another hero, then obviously you can only ensure that one of those heroes can no longer cast spells, and then you really got to pick your poison. Luna, something like Luna Venomancer or Bristleback Venomancer, that'll be a dangerous lane for OD, because you have to steal all of Bristleback's intelligence to really shut him down. If he has a single point of Nasal Goo available, like 20 mana or something like that, what is it? Yeah, 30 mana, then OD is going to get slowed down at least a little bit, and that could be the difference. But after, with their final support pick, going to go for the Abaddon. So between Abaddon and Slark, these small stuns, the slows, aren't really going to stick from the Risk side, at least on the Slark and Abaddon. And, well, Abaddon will keep the OD alive and will ensure that he's safe. But it looks like that it should just be well, dual lanes won't be terrible from the Aperture Science side, but really we just have to see what they want to go with. And they do have a lot of flexibility, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the OD in the mid lane. We'll see who's playing what. On the Aperture side, they are also called Kotl Bottle, which I don't know what they want to be called, but it's going to be Crane going to the bot lane as Slark. On the OD, we have Versari going to handle the OD mid. Bexy SC is going to be on the Crystal Maiden. Top lane, we have Favorites as well as Denzi on the Abaddon, on the Mirana and Abaddon respectively. On the Risk side, we have In Memory of Zane. I don't know if that is like because Zane is someone who died or anything, but whatever. So if you're Zane, this guy's for you. Playing the Bristleback, we have Slavi on the Venomancer. He's going to say something about Slark. We have Dendo RN on the Naga Siren. Mind Control is on the Alchemist. And last but not least, we have Power. Going to be farming up that Luna.
30 seconds.
So it looks like it's going to be a mid lane Venomancer. That's actually pretty interesting. Venomancer with the Plague Wards actually does a decent job of zoning the OD. Once he loses his mana, he will still have that Poison Sting. It's not the best way of dealing with OD, but then again, the best ways of dealing with OD are banned out. So I think it might be, aside from the dual lane possibility, the best way for Risk to run their lanes. Putting this Bristleback on the bottom lane where he'll face up against the Slark and Crystal Maiden dual lane. He will probably focus the Bristleback as much, the skill Bristleback as much as he can, just because he knows that if he gets pounced upon, then you have that phenomenon where I talked about before. You pounce on someone, you attack them. You don't pounce someone, then move around and then attack them, because you really want to get as much damage as you can while the leash is there. So the Bristleback will get a lot of value out of that spell. Oh, here we go. Risk, Mind Control, and Dendo, both just waiting. It's going to be very, very difficult to go on these heroes. Abaddon is tanky, only 1 armor, but has a lot of HP. His shield will be available for Favorites if it does come to that, but unfortunately the block favoring Aperture a little bit in this case. They won't be able to get the initiation they really want to, and yeah, they recognize it. Mind Control as well as Dendo. They're going to walk away and then start to do that pulling stuff. Looks like Luna is going to be going toe-to-toe with Mirana in this lane for the most part. Bexy, gotta be careful not to get too close to this Bristleback. Bristleback at level 2 could actually demolish Crystal Maiden, because she has 1 base armor and 450 HP, versus 3 base armor the Bristleback and 600 HP. He could dive a creep wave very, very easily, and the Quills will just demolish that CM, like, so very easily. Hell, the Quills will demolish both of these. So, these two heroes in the bottom lane, they are not going to be able to prevent Zane from actually farming. They will be able to harass him a little bit, but you can see Crystal Maiden taking a lot more damage than she's actually dealing to this Bristleback. So this lane, if it continues to play the way it does, it's going to favor the Dire. Like, Crane is definitely going to get his farm, yes, but they're not stopping from the Bristleback from getting his farm. Whereas on the other end, 1-0 on the Mirana, 0-0 on the Abaddon, pulls are happening from Dendo, and Alchemist is always there to back Luna up with the stun, and she's getting her farm, 6 for 2. Take a look at this mid lane real quickly, 4 for 3 on the Venomancer, 4 for 1 on the OD. Slavi, yes, is going to be maxing out the Poison Sting as much as he possibly can, because, hey, it will never turn off if you get all your intelligence stolen. Unfortunately for OD, he didn't get any Lucky Essence or procs, but he's keeping himself pretty safe. But there's the Gale, still has enough mana for that. Slavi doing a lot of damage to this OD. This OD might actually be in trouble if Slavi keeps up with him the way he is. And yeah, this OD is going to go down unless he has another Imprison. He does have another Imprison. He's going to not get it off. It's going to be First Blood going for Slavi. In the meantime, in the bottom lane, it's also going to be the Bristleback going down. Quill stacking up pretty high on the Slark, but Venomancer securing the First Blood. OD not expecting enough mana from the Venomancer to get out a Gale, and really punished from that. Had a bottle so he could try to bottle through the no damage Gale and Venomous Sting. He was holding on to that. I think a little bit of a mistake from Visari there. If he just spammed bottle, he would have had enough to withstand at least one more hit, and granted that one extra hit wouldn't have killed him. It would have bought him enough. The one extra hit is not the thing that killed him. It would have bought him enough time for the Astral Imprisonment. God damn it, I missed a kill. It would have bought him enough time for the Astral Imprisonment to ultimately save him. And at least if he did go down, Venomancer would have taken a lot more damage, possibly would have gotten killed by the tower as a trade. But as it stands, Visari holding on to that bottle charge and really didn't get anything from it at all. Top lane, it is going to be... Who actually got that kill? Alchemist got the kill, I think? Yes, he did get the kill. On to Denzi, getting a little bit too close. And, oh, Zane on the bottom lane. Almost going down, but then again, Slark as well as Bexy also diving very deep for this Bristleback, who has a magic stick. I think it would, yes, magic sticks are up on the Slark as well, so Zane has got to be careful. A single Crystal Nova, and he's going to get roughed up pretty bad, but so far he's holding his own. Now Risk going to rotate Mind Control as well as Dendo back down onto the bottom lane. They won't be able to kill Crane. However, if they run into Bexy, that's going to be one dead CM. Will they be able to kill Crane? If he's fast with his Dark Pact, he will be alive. He pounces away, gets the Dark Pact off. He's going to be just fine. Dendo a little bit too far away to follow up with the net. So actually they could turn this one around. Mind Control playing a little bit aggressive. No Nova though, because there's no pounce follow-up. Crane. Oh, they're playing the very dangerous dance. They're going to be here to protect this Bristleback, however. Now with another point in the Tango, now getting a Tango shared by his allies. He will continue to survive on this bottom lane. Getting a good amount of farm, actually. 12 for 1 versus favorites, 8 for 1. Risk Power is doing a pretty good job on this bottom lane. Does have the damage advantage. Mirana, a notoriously low right-click damage hero, and Luna with the Aura definitely does have a lot more damage. So the range advantage not really doing too much work for that Mirana in order to counterbalance the damage deficit that she does have. Venomancer looks like he's going to start with the Plague Wards, and he's pushing down Visari pretty damn well. This OD struggling a lot more than I thought he would versus Venomancers, because Slavi getting that kill to set the pace. And now Crane gonna get netted up. Does have a pounce. There's the stun though, and he's going to sit at 1 HP. Bexy, oh, the acid not gonna be enough. Bexy getting hit by the creeps as well as the Quills. They want to go for Crane though. I think they're just tunnel sighting a little bit too much on the Slark. They could have easily had the CM, but Crane gonna die to the creep wave most definitely. Oh, he's gonna jump away. Crane's still living. Mind Control doesn't have enough mana. Crystal Maiden in the meantime kills off Naga Siren. Oh my god, Aperture, you guys. I don't know if it's luck or mad skills. Oh, what? There's the Plague Ward, and that's going to be it. Healing from Denzi coming out a little bit too late. Something definitely happened, but it looked like it just didn't work. So they do ultimately get the Slark kill. Slark almost got away, though. He was so very close to getting away. But Crystal Maiden turns it around the Naga Siren, and I feel like Risk, if they just turned around and got the Crystal Maiden, who got chunked with like a third of her life points from one of the Quill Sprays, they could have easily had the kill and then, you know, been home in time for tea. It would have been very, very easy for them to do so. But, of course, I'm going to miss a kill on Bristleback, still on the bottom lane for some... What? I thought he was healing. Why is he here? Okay, well, they're going to go for favorites instead. Killed by a neutral. That's the second time we saw a Satyr Tormentor getting a kill like that. But still, why was Bristleback here? He had no HP. I just, like, assumed that he was healing, because last time I saw him, he had no HP, but he was sticking in the lane. Yeah, that is interesting. Interesting decision-making from this Bristleback. Huh, I don't know. Slavi gonna find himself an invisibility rune. Denzi is gonna run straight into Zane, though there is no goo. If he did have goo, this would have been a dead Abaddon for sure. Though he does have the warpath, he's doing a lot of damage to this Abaddon. He does have the shield. Denzi is taking a lot of damage, though. Crane is here. Denzi is going to put up the shield. It's not enough, though. Just use one more hit. Zane, one more Quill Spray. He will get the kill. Salve's not going to save him from that. Zane going to run straight into a CM. There's the Frostbite. He will get dropped. Wow. OD dropping the ultimate for that one. A little bit of overkill, I think. But, hey, dead is dead. OD teleporting in there to get a kill. In the meantime, top lane, Dendo going to land a net onto Favorites. The Riptide is going to miss. The Lucent Beam does connect, though. Favorites has already used the leap and Risk power, doing so much damage. Another Lucent Beam to seal the deal on the Moran on the top lane. Easy ganks from the Risk side, losing the Bristleback, but that was ultimately a 1-for-1 trade, so they're not going to be too concerned about that. And Slavi continuing to pressure down this mid lane. Mind Control going to get a stun onto Versari. The Gale's there as well, as is the Poison Nova. There's the Astral. Is there any teleportation support? If there's no teleportation support, he's just dead, I think. Slavi's there with the right clicks, level 2 Poison Sting, and Mind Control. Taking a little bit of damage, but he's going to escape it. Looks like, no, here comes Favorites with the Starstorm. They just got the Alchemist. Teleportation support coming in from Bexy. It's going to be Slavi as well as Dendo. On their way up, but the tower does fall. Slavi gets his tower. 7 minutes tower Venomancer push. Maxed out on the Plague Wards with the Sting as well. Slavi really handling that mid lane like an absolute champ. And Power up on the top lane. He's bringing this tower down very, very low as well. Denzi is not here. Favorites is not here. Both of those heroes tried to deal with the mid lane, but it's not going to be enough to take down the mid lane, the top lane tower. Though this tower is not very long for life at all. Favorites is here, but he's got to watch out for this Alchemist gank, as does the bottom lane. They have to watch out for this Naga Siren gank. But here we go. Stun being charged up for a long time. Acid drop before he does go for the stun lands, and an easy kill on this Abaddon. So much damage from this build, and Alchemist support. This is the second time we've seen this in the games I've casted, at least today. Being really, really effective because that nuke does so much friggin' damage. They're going to go straight for the top lane now. Favors, does he smell something? Oh, yes, he does smell something. He's going to back up, and he should be just fine. They definitely saw Slavi with the ward, at least. I think Dendo is still hidden, so they don't know the Naga Siren is here, but hell, Venomancer is enough to deter them from getting close, and they're going to take the tower. Power's going to secure that kill. Now has his drums finished. Are they going to keep going for this one? That's the big question. These Venomancer illusions doing a lot of damage with that Poison Sting, but Power is going to fall back. He'll be just fine. In the meantime, the bottom lane, Crane, going toe-to-toe with Zane. And let's see who's going to come up ahead on this one. I think it should be the Bristleback. He does have the Vit Booster, whereas Slark doesn't really have anything like that. And Vit Booster, of course, with the Bristleback translates into more damage with this passive skill. To get more and more quills out, but Crane does have the regeneration advantage, so in a long drawn out fight, Crane is always going to win. However, if they actually get into a full scuffle, then in just a right click match, I think Bristleback should have the advantage there, though not with an OD. Here we go, pounce onto the Bristleback, and instant teleportation out. Is there an imprison? There should be. Yes, there is. Is he going to drop the hammer? Hammer equals dropped. No. Okay, they're just going to right click him. Oh, there you go. Just going to give him a little bit of hope and then, demolish him. Denzi going to get netted down. Arrow onto Dendo, not going to be enough. Bexy is going to channel the Freezing Field for a little bit. There's the Moran ultimate, trying to save them all. Mind Control as well as Dendo, trying to get their way out of there. Favorites is here as well, going to secure the kill on the ward, but that's about it. Slavi might get nailed by an arrow. Both sides lose Observer wards, actually. Okay. So it's a Bristleback going down in the bottom lane, a little bit of a damage trade up in that ancient area of the Radiance. Ultimately, not too much of anything, though. It's going to be more rotation, more pushing, I think. I mean, at the end of the day, Risk is still getting their farm on Power. Slark definitely not getting as much net worth being led, surprisingly enough, by the Venomancer. Like, how often do you see this in a game, ever? The gold per minute, Risk is definitely doing a superior job just because of, what, arrow? Not gonna hit. Definitely doing a superior job because of the towers that they're taking down. Now Zane gonna go toe-to-toe with Crane, the goo, as well as the quills, all gonna be buffed out, or the goo at least is buffed out. The quills are not buffed out completely. But Dendo as well as Mind Control, both here. If they get a net on the Slark, I think they might be able to kill him. He'll be able to pounce out of it, yes, but then you guarantee the physical damage of the concoction. They're not even going to go for that. They don't really care if they let the Slark live. It's all about getting the tower. And Aperture, they don't really have that much I could defend against this push, actually. They're definitely going to want to have as many people as they can on this bottom lane. Like, Crystal Maiden should be down here as well, though. She's a little bit too far away. The damage that comes out from Power... Oh, there's a net onto Crane. He's going to try to buff it out. He will be successful in doing so, though there's the leap away. And Denzi... Oh, no, Denzi, you don't want to... Oh, Denzi. Oh, yeah. He's stuck in a corner, although this might be good for the Radiant side if they could get in support. Mind Control. Going to blow himself up. There's the Eclipse from Power, though. Instantly 2 down, and Favorites with the level 1 leap trying to get away. Is there a net? No, there is not. The tower is going to go down. I said that it could go well for the Radiant if they had rotation support, because everyone would be clumped up into this back area so that the OD could lay the hammer down on someone. That's not going to happen, though. It's instead going to be the Eclipse coming down from Power, instantly 2 down, and they're going to keep on rolling with this push. The Venomancer has more than enough mana, has a mech, has Arcane Boots, has Bottle, has everything he needs to just chip away at this tower. Arrow's going to fly, hit onto a poor melee creep. But between the acid, between the glaze, between the damage that Luna's putting out from the aura, as well as the other team members getting buffed up by that aura, this tower is going to take quite a beating. And, well, here we go. They're going to go straight in with the Miran ultimate teleportation coming in. It's going to be the Slark. He wants to get a pounce on someone. They know that the Miran ultimate is now up, though. Power is going to get initiated upon by Crane, but they do have backup. Power going to get the stun onto Crane, as well as the Alchemist stun onto 2, Bexy and Denzi, both, as well as the Gale. Dendo is there with the Venom, Slavi's there with the Poisonous ultimate as well. Mech is available, but it's already 1 for 1. The Luna has gone down. Here comes the Bristleback from behind. Crane still zoning out Mind Control. Denzi doing as much healing as he can for Versari. He is going to keep him up alive enough so that he can get a kill on the Naga Siren, though Versari is not going to last long enough. Zane is going to seal the deal there, and Mind Control comes back in with another stun, killing off the Mirana, and now the Slark going to jump out of there. He will buff out everything. The Poison Sting still doing some pretty heavy damage, getting reapplied by the Plague Wards. I don't think the Slark can escape. Does have another pounce. He will not dodge it. You can't dodge stuff with pounce. It does not disjoint. Although it looked like it almost did. And we have a pause. Alright, we have a quick reconnect, guys. So, in that fight, Aperture doing a lot of work with that, with the Abaddon. He's always in the back end. Like, he was down here throwing out shields, throwing out heals for a very, very long time. But, you know, ultimately, the fact that Venomancer had the mech, had the level 2 Poison Nova, is really what made the difference there. Like, the Slark did a lot of work, but at the end of the day, he only has 25 CS. Luna had 64. He did a lot of damage. Didn't even have the Eclipse, I believe. The Eclipse was last used over there. So the Eclipse wasn't even being used. It was just the fact that there was so much damage over time from the Risk side. They had the Venomancer just dropping wards after Poison Sting attacks, after everything and stuff like that. They had the Acid in the middle of everything, and once the Bristleback came in to really just close off the retreat path from this area, that was it. Aperture were stuck in this area. They had to either fight their way out or die, and they tried to do both, but they ultimately died. Roshan now going to be attempted. Power does have the Helm of the Dominator. Should be going for a BKB next, I expect. Protect himself a lot from that OD. With the Bristleback on the Dire side, this Roshan is going to drop very quickly. No Medallion just yet, though there is Acid Spray, there is the Nasal Goo, and -6 armor on Roshan. Goodbye, Roshan. Luna now with the double life. And I think Risk are just going to go straight for the mid. Yep, it's pinged out. They want this tier 2 tower. They're probably going to get it as well. Their pushing is intense, and OD does not have an ultimate. Naga Siren now does have her ultimate. Dropped down really quickly in that fight. I don't know if she had no ultimate in that fight or she didn't have a chance to get the ultimate, but either way, it wasn't there. They're going to go straight for the tier 2, and they're going to get it. Unless a miracle happens, but it's going to be mostly on favorites to land a good arrow. But he's only level 7. He doesn't really have that much damage. really there's no damage coming out from Aperture aside from their raw values, which isn't a bad thing, but there are big items on the Risk side. The gold per minute really shows that fact. And this tower, oh, Risk mind control, gonna get a stun out onto Denzi, will get imprisoned. I think that might have made him, oh, well, there's the arrow follow-up and favorites. Gonna get Lucent Beam stun. Dendo thinking about using the Naga Siren ultimate, gonna decide against it though. They're instead going to take a tour of the tier 2s. Take the mid lane tower with no resistance. Well, the only thing left to do is take the top tier 2 tower with no resistance. They still have the Aegis, so they have all the freedom in the world to do pretty much whatever they want in Aperture. They're going to receive some very, very heavy losses. They can't fight. Their hand is being forced, but they're refusing, and that's just causing them to lose objective after objective. The OD ultimate, I think, is really their biggest source of damage, but I mean, you have a Vanguard on the Bristleback, you have an Armlet coming up. Even if you hit him hard, his intelligence growth is 2.8. That's not terrible for a strength hero. He's still very tanky as well, and Favorite's going to get netted down. He will leap out of there, though. And Mind Control is looking for a stun. He will find it on himself. Arrow gonna fly, stun onto Power. This could be the death of the Luna, though he does have an Aegis. Starstorm is going to seal the deal. So there's a free Aegis. Power getting a little bit too ahead of himself, getting nailed by an arrow with Imprison. But it doesn't matter, because the tower does go down regardless. Are they going to keep going? Oh, hell yeah, they're going to keep going. They want this game to end, and they're going to end it by pushing. Plague Wards are dropping, and the Lucent and the Glazer bouncing. Favorites jumping the wrong way. You don't want to go that way. He's going to drop very, very quickly. Stun onto the OD on the sideline. Zane going to go straight on to Bexy SC. Look at the damage from this Bristleback with the Armlet. Teleportation coming in. It is going to be from Slark. Zane going to get leashed down, but he has the maxed out Bristleback. He has the Armlet as well. He's taking no damage whatsoever. He's going to turn around and go straight for the OD, though the Imprison is going to save him. It's going to be Mind Control with the Acid, picking up that Abaddon. Now net onto Versari. Quills are going to fly through, and Crane is going to call GG. Risk with a 16-minute push fest. My god, this, I gotta say, Venomancer in the mid lane. That was legit as hell. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty cool. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for round 3, or one of the games for round 3 of the Dota 2 League of Dota. I don't know if we have another game. I might have to check, but either way, stay tuned if there is another game, and if there's not, then I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys. GG.